Hello, John.
Hey.
Thank you for accepting my offer of interview.
No problem. Was happy to.
Tell me, are you a person ordinary or extraordinary?
Well, it's hard to say. I'm a humble person, so I'll say ordinary, but maybe every once in a while I'll do something extraordinary.
Okay. What are you doing in Poland? Why are you here in our country?
Wow, that's a bit of a long story. I don't know how long you guys have for this interview, but I've been here. Well, this is my second time living here. So my first time I was here for 3 years, from 2003 to 2006, and I was kind of in a place where I, wanted to travel and see the world, and Poland was right smack in the middle of Europe, so it seemed like a good place to start. Also, it hadn't joined the European Union yet, so it was easier for me to get a work permit here than in other places around Europe. So I found my first teaching job here, and I fell in with a really nice language school with a nice family, and they basically made me a part of it. And after a few years, I went back to Los Angeles, start my life. I've worked for about 4 years in a kind of, the regular 9-to-5 job, and I started to get bored. I've missed teaching, and I just really wanted to get back to it, but not with the mindset like, am I going to do this 1 year, 2 years, but just to come and start a business and become like a business English teacher, and just try to grow my practice here. And that's what I'm doing now. So it was a life decision to come back after the first time around. I loved it so much.
Okay, nice to hear. So tell me more about your work here. What are you exactly doing? I know you're English teacher, right?
Yeah.
But also what I know is that you're preparing some English CV, right, for people?
Not only. That was my first project. I think during the lockdown, I started to realize that maybe I can't rely just on person-to-person teaching, because here in my office I do mostly one-to-one teaching. Sometimes I travel to businesses to do business English courses. I also teach at one of the universities around here, and I lost a lot of classes, I'll say, from the businesses. Once they couldn't open their doors to outsiders, then I lost a lot of those classes, and some of my private students, started canceling. And so during the lockdown, I just thought I need to maybe broaden my horizons a little bit and expand what I do. So I used that time to teach myself how to use, for example, Microsoft PowerPoint, how to make videos and do animation, and just try to present my teaching in a different way and reach a bigger audience. So now I have this. My first project was that how to make a CV in English. Since then, I'm a teacher on Skillshare. It's a learning platform in America. Well, it's worldwide, but a lot of people in Poland don't know about it. So I've made 4 projects there since July. 2 graphic design courses. One was that business English course that I shared with you, and my latest one is a Thanksgiving cooking class. And so that's something I've been doing every year, like clockwork. Every year around Thanksgiving, I host this big dinner with all my friends, and it's just like something that kind of makes me feel home here, because Thanksgiving is one of the big holidays, and it's based around all my favorite foods. So
okay, so tell me, what can you offer to people if they need to improve their English, right?
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
how they can contact you, first of all?
Well, they can find me on my website at www.native1.pl. I'm the one native you want to speak with. And I also have a fan page on, well, now I guess they call them business pages on Facebook. Native One Business English, and so they can find me there. And you can reach me on the nativespeaker.com.pl website. I have a profile up there as well.
Okay, so improving English, helping with CV, some preparation for what is it? How to say it when you have the first personal conversation with your future employee?
The interview.
Yeah,
like what we're doing.
Yeah, something like that, right? About job.
Absolutely.
So you can prepare them too. So in total, everything in general connected with English and some business skills, right?
Anything. I teach mostly. In the past, I was teaching adults and companies. More recently, I also branched into teaching teenagers for I don't know what you call it now, but the elementary school exam. Now elementary school is 8 years.
Yeah.
So I'm preparing some of my students. So I also teach some teenagers for that exam, and some high school age children as well. Children, teenagers as well, and adults.
Okay. Are people interested in what you're doing? You have a lot of clients, or you expect more? You wish it can be more? What do you think? This business is good?
Yeah, it definitely it pays the bills. It's a little bit difficult to get ahead, though. I would say the whole theory, trading your time for work. I'm starting to, look for ways to earn a bit more passive income in addition to, what I earn per lesson. So, I won't be able to teach forever. So it would be good to have some other streams of income, maybe diversify a little bit. That's one of the reasons why I'm branching into doing the video lessons.
So do you think Polish people learn quick or slow English? How do you?
English?
Yeah. You must read it 100 times? Or what do you think about Polish people?
I think
just normal, or they have better skills, worse skills?
I would say that there are maybe some inherent mistakes. As a teacher, we learn basically what are the translation mistakes, where your own language is influencing how you think and speak the next language. So there's some things like that. But for the most part, in my experience, Polish learners have been really eager. They're very curious. They want to know. Oftentimes, a lot of them are perfectionists, which may not be the best thing. Sometimes it means that they don't want to try the more advanced things. I just know this structure, so I'll just use that. I know the simple structure, so I'll just use the simple. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult to get them to express themselves a little bit more, because I know that they can. I'm talking about some of my students.
Okay, now maybe tell me about USA.
Okay, sure.
Firstly, did you vote? Are you able? You have rights to vote for the current election?
I do.
It's like postal, right, voting?
I do have the right, but it's one of those things where, and this is something I get a lot, in the last couple of weeks, that for me, I want to say it's pointless, but in some ways it is, because when you're voting for a presidential election, the presidents aren't elected by the people, right? Our last, or let's say two of our last three presidents were elected with minority vote, because the states elect them. So people like me, expats, our votes are rather symbolic. So I just kind of following, hoping that my people back home do the right thing, because for me to vote is just a symbolic measure.
So you don't have any favorite one of these two? Trump or Biden?
Well, hopefully no Trump supporters will, track me down because they're a rambunctious bunch. But I'm not a fan of Trump. I don't like what he was doing with our country, I should say, not mine.
Okay, tell me, you're from California, right? Los Angeles?
Los Angeles, yeah.
So, which life you like more, Los Angeles or here? You live here in this place, Miko?
Yeah, in Miko.
So I think it's two different worlds, right?
It is two different worlds.
Big world and rather small one, right? World. So what do you think?
Well, for me, we think Los Angeles is this big city, but really it's a collection of pocket cities. So I'm from the South Bay, a city called Carson, and it's about 20 minutes from downtown, 15 minutes from the airport. Mm-hmm. It's a kind of hub city. You have like 3 freeways passing through, and you can pretty much get to anywhere in the greater Los Angeles area from where I'm from. And we're not far from the beach either. So it is a great place to live, but for me, it's not about the place where you live, it's doing what you want to be doing. In a lot of ways, my work here defines who I am and allows me to express myself and be the people person that I am. And so I love that a little bit more than I love the weather back home.
Mm. If I go to California, what do you suggest me to visit? What is like must-see places?
You're talking sites?
Yeah, whatever. What is the most?
So I guess I have to turn the interview around and maybe ask you some questions. Are you the kind of off the beaten track road, or do you want to go see what all the other tourists see?
More I'm into like landscape, some beach. Maybe mountains, but I don't think you have there, right?
Actually we do. So if you're into landscapes, I would definitely recommend you check out Chavez Ravine. There's this park, and it's kind of like a wild place around Dodger Stadium, and it's up in the hills. So if you hike to the right place, you can get some vantage points with views of the whole city. Back in the day when I was at university, we had some late night unofficial nights in that area where we would go and just hang out and just watch the views of the city. There are mountains about 2 hours from Los Angeles, so if you're into that sort of thing, Big Bear Mountain during the ski season, that's a good place to go. But the beach is much closer, so of course I can recommend you the beach.
I will go for beach.
Yeah.
Sandy beach?
The beaches are sandy. I would say the most popular ones are Santa Monica and Venice Beach. You can walk from one down to the other and back. And Santa Monica is more of the trendy area. And Venice Beach is more artisan. You got the street performers out there. And Muscle Beach, you got the famous street basketball courts out there, so that would definitely be a place I could recommend you as well.
Okay, which country is more safe, Poland or United States?
Well, that's hard to say. I would have to say it is more safe here for me. From my point of view. Back in America we got guns and things, so fights don't always stay fights. Someone goes to the back of the car and then everybody scatters or something like that. So it's, there are some places, for example, where I'm from, where I wouldn't recommend you to go. And those places, I would say, are a little bit more dangerous than maybe the no-go areas here. But generally, you can walk the streets here nicely, and in the right part of town, you can walk the street safely.
Something bad happened here in Poland for you?
I've had
some bad experience?
I've had some run-ins, but I would say whoever I ran into really had the bad experience. So, but yeah, it happens. I've been in a couple of fights here.
Okay. Tell me, what are the main differences between Poland and United States?
Well,
Say?
it's night and day. I mean, for me here, the language is something, the food is something different. But I will say that people have similar values.
Similar.
Yeah, I mean, well, I would say maybe here your family values are really strong, and you have this maybe this value or quality here in Poland where kind of strangers, foreigners get your protection here to some degree that that a lot of people want outsiders to know the best of Poland, and that kind of guarantees us a bit of goodwill, I would say.
Don't you think Americans are more easygoing people?
Definitely.
Yeah,
you're definitely more likely to get someone to smile at you in the streets.
You know, when I hear this story, my friend, for example, went to United States, and then the officer in passport control, you know, just like taking a passport, sitting like that. What's going on, man? You know.
Yeah. What are you doing?
It can happen, you know, in Poland. It's like, what's going on, man?
Yeah,
it's like, you know,
it's it's. I think it's a lot easier to strike up a conversation with someone from the States. People are very open there, and you know, sometimes it's superficial. You know, it's like, hey, how you doing? Well, I was just asking. You know, you get that feeling, but no, I think people are genuinely open there. So, like I said, I'm at home there and I'm at home here for different reasons, I will say.
You said about food that it's different, but it's worse or better?
Well, I'm not going to say it's worse or better. It's different. However, you do have a higher concentration of foods that I absolutely cannot eat. You know, like the whole mushroom thing. You know, I remember that, you know, when I first came to Poland and I ordered a pizza, I was like, oh, it had like some ham and mushroom, but really it was a mushroom and ham pizza. You know, like they just took a bucket of mushrooms and dumped it on it. I was like, I can't eat this. You know, I can have maybe one or two scattered around my food, but not like in the quantities that you get them here. Really? So pretty much like anything with mushrooms as a focus, like your croquettes and your pierogies and that the cabbage with the mushroom. You know, basically all the stuff you eat for Christmas. I just kind of sit there and try to be polite. and my absolute worst vegetable is the beetroot. I think you call it buraki.
Yes. It's your favorite?
No, it's my absolute worst. Like I can't even be around it.
Yeah. Yesterday I drank beetroot juice.
Just no.
It's not for you.
No. But most everything else. Apart from that, those things, and apart from those, I would say that I generally enjoy the food here.
Okay, what do you think about pandemic of COVID-19?
The pandemic, that's kind of
because USA, you know, your country is first in the ranking, the most infected, right? The most cases in the world. So, is it really that bad in the United States? Or?
I would say that it is. When I talk to my peoples back home, it's something that is on the minds of everyone. I think what makes it worse there is that what's universally recognized as safety measure, like things like wearing a mask, is a political issue back home. That, you know, you got YouTube videos of people in Walmarts kicking over stands where they're selling masks and marching through the shop, you know, maskless, you know, chanting that they have rights and that they're free and they don't want to wear masks. And I think that cavalier attitude is maybe what's making the problem worse there. but in terms of here, it seems like, you know, your government has this, you know, taken some actions and, you know, to restrict things, and people are feeling the crunch and maybe quietly grumbling about it, but they just kind of do what they're told for the most part. And I think like we Americans are too stubborn to follow those kind of rules. So that's I think that's part of the reason why we're the best in the world in catching COVID cases.
So I think it's real, right? It's not like fake or something. This is really
Absolutely
happening.
not. I mean, I've had, you know, people here, students of mine who've been affected by it, have to do, you know, Zoom calls with students who are under quarantine because someone they know got it infected, and so fortunately it hasn't made its way to me and my wife yet, but I will say that, you know, it is definitely affecting the people around me here.
So you're with wife here in Poland?
Yeah, I've been married.
American or Polish?
No, she's Polish.
Polish, really? Oh. Okay, so you met her the first time you've been here or the second when you come back?
No, we met some years ago, I would say, and you know, we started dating. Actually, she started out. She took a conversation class of mine, and afterwards we just
really?
on the day of the last lesson we started talking and went out
about different stuff.
No, I said, you know, I invited her to tea, and it was the beginning of something nice.
Wow, that's nice. Nice story.
So,
what could you say you like about Poland and you don't like? And be honest. What is you like and don't like about Poland or Polish people?
well, the language is really hard for me.
Okay, you don't like language one. What is the second? But can you speak Polish? Say something.
I have
Polish.
some survival skills. I don't know, but like, you have to
Nice
ask me a question maybe, or you know, I can order something in the restaurant and you know, kind of struggle to.
Jaki jest twój ulubiony kolor?
Mój ulubiony kolor jest niebieski.
Good.
Brąz.
Bravo, okay. So, you know, basic.
Yeah, the survival stuff. I can get by, but I can't have any philosophical debates in Polish.
But in home you speak English most of the time?
Yeah. My wife, she's fluent in English, so that makes it easy.
Okay, language. What else you don't like? Mushroom. Okay.
Yeah, there's some things about the food. Other than that, it's really hard for me to find fault. You know, I'm not one of those person who's looking for fault in everything. I just try to see the best in people. Yeah.
Okay, tell me, what do you think about abortion? Recently, this is very hot issue in Polish media. What do you think about this?
Yeah, that's a hot topic.
About this protest, right?
Yeah,
demonstrations. So
absolutely, it's something that never has really touched me, but I've always felt like that's something, you know, if a woman wants to choose one or the other, that's really her choice. So, you know, who are we to tell somebody else what they can and can't do?
How it works in US?
Well, there was a Supreme Court ruling that gets thrown around every election cycle called Roe versus Wade, and that ruling basically legalized abortion to a degree. And what ends up happening is the individual states pass more and more restrictive laws, and some of those laws end up getting challenged and struck down. And the Congress never really taken it up as an issue to solidify it into law, because right? When you have a law that's based on a court ruling, it's very flimsy because the other states will, the states will try to find ways around it, and they just each one on top of the other try to outdo each other until they get something that sticks. So if it were to be codified into the law, then we wouldn't have as much an emphasis on things like the Supreme Court. But you saw this past year and the last year of Obama's presidency that for the conservatives, their whole plan was to take over the courts so that they could have some way of making the laws even if they do lose power in the future. So it's a tough topic because if you have any political ambition and you say you're for or against, you automatically have a polar opposite number of people who are totally against you. So it's a very polarizing topic.
Okay, now one question went into my mind. I want to ask, what about discrimination? Do you really think there is discrimination in the United States?
Absolutely.
There is?
Absolutely.
There is a lot of opinion that because just it happened to white, it happened to black, but they will just boast the information about black. So what is your opinion? It really should be changed?
It's one of those things where actually it is systemic. And what I mean by that is it's not like each person has this or doesn't have this in their heart, but the whole system is geared to keep some people with, let's say, a higher percentage chance of success in America. And I give you an example that I sometimes tell my students, a personal story, that when you, for example, go to school, your school is based in a neighborhood, and based on where you live, the taxes that get paid, property taxes and whatnot, this largely determines the school budget. So, in Los Angeles, you have cities like Beverly Hills, and you have cities like Compton or South Central that have the lower property value. So schools in the richer areas have better funding. Schools in the worst areas have less funding. So when I was coming up in the schools, my parents, God bless them, they made it priority for me to go to one of the better high schools in the area so that I could have access to the kind of advanced placement programs, that basically to be on the college track. Because, if you go to a school that has the right courses that can help you pad your GPA, your grade average, and just put you in a better position to go to a better school. And so that was something that, maybe is an example of that. And when I got to school, maybe I was suddenly, in with a lot of students who maybe had better preparation for me. So I had to work really hard to kind of keep up and catch up. And you learn from that first year what it takes. If maybe, you were maybe one of the best of a smaller school, and then you go to a school that had all straight A students in those classrooms, and now you're competing with them, and that's a whole different ballgame. So from an education standpoint, it's systemic. I think when you look at the makeup of the neighborhoods, it's also systemic. The police.
Yeah, in terms of police, that they are more prone to, to do more aggressive action to white or black, right?
Yeah, it's and then, they're policing some neighborhoods, and let's say they're protecting others. So really, there's something that happened in the news that was really upsetting maybe a few months back during the lockdown, or maybe even before this lockdown it was during the lockdown, and where a white woman in Central Park had her dog off the leash, and that's illegal. So a black man, bird watcher, called her out and was like, "Hey, can you put your dog back on the leash?" And so she, being in the wrong, called the police on him and said, "I'm going to call the police and tell them a black man is threatening me." And of course she knew, and he knew exactly what that meant. That they're gonna come in and shoot first and ask questions later, you know. So it's that's a sad but true reality that, you know, someone can call the police on you and you automatically have, you know, to prove from handcuffs. You know, not from a conversation, but from handcuffs. I ain't doing anything. You know? So it's.
That's a difference between Poland and US too, right? I think your police more like aggressive. Here, like sometimes people even offending in front of them, you know, telling some bad stuff to the face, but they like can't really do nothing, just patiently listening, just saying something politely to them, but not like in US. I mean.
No, I don't think you would try that with an American police officer. Yeah. It's just asking for trouble. So I would say that I, for the most part, you come to view police here for kind of what they should be, you know, to serve and protect. So, yeah, maybe back home, you know, police officer is not the first person I would ask for directions or help or anything.
Okay. Is there something in your life, if you could, you can change, you want to change?
Absolutely not.
Turn back time?
Never.
No.
Never. No, I'm one of those, maybe I look back and think like, oh, it would be nice if this or if that, but, you know, I'm really happy with where I am, with the decisions that I've made that brought me to this point. I'm living, I can say, my best life.
That's good. Okay, every guest I have, I'm asking for, you know, lucky numbers because I want to win some money. Maybe I can travel more. So I want you to help me with this. So please, at first give me 5 numbers from 1 to 50. From 1 to 50, 5 numbers.
Okay. 7, 31, 24, 42, 47.
Okay, and from 1 to 10, 2 numbers.
From 1 to 10?
2 numbers.
1 and 7.
1 and 7. Okay, this is Euro jackpot. Every week they make a toss, so yeah, I will try my luck. Thanks. I hope it will work.
Alright, so I wasn't really thinking about that, but I might have to, you know, use those same numbers. We might split this jackpot.
Yeah.
What's is there like a big jackpot?
Yeah. You know, depends if someone won for example, last toss, if there was a winner. If not, it's accumulate more and more. So the biggest win was like around 120 million zloty.
Okay.
Around 30 million euro, something like this. So it's bigger money than just in Polish lottery.
Okay. Yeah, that's worth a. How much is the ticket?
Like 250 zloty per one frame, you know.
Okay.
250, maybe 3, maybe it grow, but I'm not sure.
So that's even less than the Super
was
Lotto.
like 250. So
that's even less than the Lotto Plus. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get on that. I'm a happy, humble American, and I'm just really grateful that the people in the community around me have just basically welcomed me as a part of it right from the beginning, and that's one of the real reasons why I'm here.
So do you say good things to your friends, I don't know, family, people in United States about Poland? You recommend Poland to them?
Absolutely. I'm still trying to get some of my peoples back to come out here and visit.
Yeah, but you know, I heard a lot of stories that, for example, when Americans come here, they're coming here for holiday and they love it, you know. to go, and sometimes they like shocked why there is no much police outside, Why there is no police? It's very unsafe because not much police around. But my friend saying, no, it means it's safe. We don't need them that often, like you in USA,
Yeah, exactly. So, no, definitely.
And before I heard the story that a lot of people were buying here Prince Polo, the chocolate bar, Prince Polo.
Yeah, I see them around.
And they brought to USA.
It seems that, this is wafers. I mean, wafers with chocolate. So, yeah, those are really nice.
And one more question I have, I remember now. There is a specific opinion about Polish people in America. They have something when you say, he's Polish. He has, some stereotypes.
Well, it's hard for me to say because I didn't really grow up in a part of
because a lot of Polish people, right?
Yeah, we don't really have a
millions
big Polish population in Los Angeles, but I would imagine there are in cities like New York and Chicago, but I'm not really from there, so I can't really speak about what I haven't experienced myself. So.
Okay, thank you, John.
It's been a pleasure.
I think we are done. Nice to meet you. I had a nice talk with you. So hopefully see you somewhere around.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wish you good luck in your work, in your office, nice office.
Thank you. And
so
I wish you
a lot of clients, a lot of students. Yeah, everything good for you. And the wishes for you, what should I wish you?
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Maybe one more thing, because you were asking me something about maybe something I didn't like, and this isn't something I don't like, but it bothers me a little bit that we have our Black Friday the day after Thanksgiving, and here it's like a Black Month, so it's one of those things that's.
Like, you mean with the sales?
Yeah, just kind of taking it a little bit too far. Perhaps because not many people really understand what it's all about. That it is a kind of commercial holiday, because retail stores typically the day after Thanksgiving turn their attentions to Christmas, and hence the sales. But we don't disrespect Thanksgiving by starting Black Friday early. And so, when you have Black Month, I just kind of shake my head. Black Friday, that's maybe 3 weeks away, a little bit early. But yeah, that's kind of funny but I like to wish, since it's November now and Thanksgiving is coming up, and for me, this is one of my favorite holiday, so I wish people an early happy Thanksgiving, and save Black Friday for the day after Thanksgiving. That would be the 27th.
Okay, so happy Thanksgiving, everything the best.
All right,
thank you, John.